I think of the mentor for me being for creativity, and I can go way back to my parents and then my grandparents, because they were my grandparents. Jack Daniels, true name, what chance do I have? He was a piano player and a piano teacher. My grandmother, his wife, was a piano teacher and player, and so the conversation of music was always there. And then my parents were, my father's a composer, a trumpet player, my mother's an actress, and so while there are pressures in there were professional pressures to be good, which I've definitely felt like, because it's a professional environment. It's the mentoring of to be creative or to express myself in a creative way was normal, you know. So it's only when you start going and playing at the other kids' houses, oh, they go to bed on time. Or go to bed. We were pretty, you know, dysfunctional, I suppose, in that way. So that's the beginning of my grandfather, especially because he taught me to question. And I got in trouble an awful lot at school, and I got in trouble pretty well in every environment that I worked. When I worked at the church, I got in trouble a lot because I asked questions like, why do we do it this way? Because he always taught me, you'll never learn anything when you believe what someone tells you. You have to actually discover it for yourself. And so that mentoring, I've been writing a lot about it. I'm just working on this book idea and thinking that really that's the root of one wing of creativity, is asking questions or being challenged. So that was a big mentor. The next mentor I had musically was a guy called Ike Isaacs, and he was a really old guy, a jazz guitar player from England. And I met him. He was teaching in Sydney. He was visiting, and I just happened to live close by, so I was the driver for him. I was probably 18 years old, 19, and I'd already ventured out to become a musician. And he was like my grandfather, and they actually connected, became friends, because he thought learning music was the same thing. So where many guitar teachers or many music teachers had always said, this is how you play it, he gave me one lesson which was about harmony and triads and finding just practicing. And the lesson, which is another conversation, I realized, you know, most teachers, they give you homework and next week you can bring it back. And I realized what he just showed me would take me a year to work it out. And I said, I can't do this by next week. He goes, actually, you'd probably take your whole life to work what I just told you. And it's the same thing as my grandfather. So maybe my personality is drawn to that, but I'm still, that's 30 something years later, I'm still using it and still learning that concept of using my ear and my muscle memory with my hands and everything. And I became a really good accompanist because of that lesson. And for me, I was probably born to be an accompanist, and sometimes I'm accompanying myself singing, which seems like, you know, doesn't that sound like an Irish saying? But I'm the storytelling, you know, I'm trying to build the story and the atmosphere around that. So that goes back to then. So they were the two biggest mentors musically, and then the songwriting aspect is really just every Tom, Dick and Harry I listened to, you know, in records, James Taylor, Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye, Pink Floyd, all these different bands, and still now, the Kooks. I listen to the Kooks and I go, oh my God, I love that song. And so John Lennon had a really great saying when somebody accused him of plagiarism, and they accused him of thinking that he would be affronted and yell back, and he said, oh yeah, I'm definitely a plagiarist. Everything that I've heard, everything that I've read, everything that I've seen, I use. And Picasso, actually, he says, if I see it, I steal it. And so I think that's also, I'm probably more of a communicator than an originator. I don't think there's too much original in what I'm doing. I'm just expressing it in a way that's out of my life journey. And I've learnt over the years from different people not to be not afraid of what the audience may think when I start it, or what the record label may judge me on, or something. It's like, because it's a journey, and some learning is making mistakes and then learning from your mistakes, and so is performing, and so is, anyway, that's where I got from the early mentors, the question thing. And I think I'm so thankful, despite my multitude caning sessions from school teachers and getting fired at many jobs. Questions are good.